If you're looking for a way to keep your hands busy, well, the Steam Deck has yet another fresh rival in the OneXplayer 2. This beefy handheld gaming PC boasts the same AMD Ryzen 6800U chipset as the Ayaneo 2, so you can expect some proper meaty performance, all wrapped up in a slick Nintendo Switch style design. Alright, so let's whip the OneXplayer 2 on out of its ruddy, enormous box. I'm going to spend a few days testing it out and then deliver my verdict. And for more on the latest and greatest tech, please do poke subscribe and ding that notifications bell. Cheers! So first up, what do you actually get in this rather huge box? Well, you've got yourself the OneXplayer 2, and holy sh**, that is one girthy mofo. I'm getting sudden vivid flashbacks to the Arcos video players from about 2 decades ago. I've also got the Switch style controllers which slap onto the side of this thing. Again, pretty chunky wee chappies. And you've also got a 100-watt charger, unsurprisingly massive and heavy. You got yourself a braided Type-C USB cable. I love that, that's pretty cute. I'm the manual. This is all I look like. Come on and boot me on to check. I think I'll do just that. And that's everything that's in the box. So now let's actually check out this Gaming Goliath. Alright, fast forward a day and I've got my OneXplayer 2 all set up. A process which was made considerably easier using the official OneXplayer dinky wee keyboard. You can snaffle yourself one for the OneXplayer store. It's not necessary, but it certainly does make life easier. Which means what, kiddies? That's right, more time for drinking. Of course, as cute as it is, I wouldn't recommend actually gaming on this thing. The keys are super tiny and most of the function keys are all kind of crammed together. And look at this teeny touchpad. Seriously, it's like a keyboard for gerbils or something. But anywho, enough about the keyboard. Let's actually check out the OneXplayer 2. Now, the base form for the OneXplayer 2 is basically a massive chunky tablet. This thing really isn't f***ing around, weighs well over half a kilo, and just check out the thickness. It is thick with all of the C's. As a basis for comparison, well, here is the Nintendo Switch OLED. As you can see there, a bit of a difference in dimensions, but again, especially when it comes to the girth. But of course, just as the Switch had its Joy-Cons, to turn the OneXplayer into a gaming device, you have these big chunky mofos here. Again, just a wee difference in size there. Did you spot it? But thankfully, the OneXplayer 2's controllers are lightweight, so they don't add much onto the overall weight of the device. Gaming computer for hardcore gamers! And these just slap onto the side of the OneXplayer 2 in much the same way. Ooh, I like that mechanism. Oh, very satisfying. And as you can see, as soon as they're slapped on there, they spring to life. You've got this gorgeous LED backlighting. But yeah, the combined weight of the slab-like OneXplayer 2 and the controllers is 850 grams. Already I can feel that my puny boy biceps are getting serious workouts. This is definitely going to be a gaming on a desk or in your lap kind of job. And some more hot comparison action for you. As you can see there, side by side with the Steam Deck. The OneXplayer about the same height and width, but the Steam Deck is a wee bit skinnier and also lighter. Like, considerably lighter. I'm sorry for mocking you, Steam Deck, all is forgiven. If you're using the controllers separate from the main body, for instance, you've got the tablet hooked up to your TV and you're reclining on your sofa, or you're just using it in laptop mode, something like that, we do have a built-in kickstand around back, just to prop up the OneXplayer 2 like so, and that kickstand does feel a little bit flimsy, so you want to be careful. As for the rest of the design, well, I rather like it. That 8.4-inch display does mostly fill up the front end of the OneXplayer 2, quite skinny bezels surrounding it. The overall design looks and feels premium and sleek. You've got a USB charging port down below. You've also got another one up above. Along with a full-size Type-A USB port, you've got a micro SD memory card slot. And then over here on the left edge, you've got your power button, you've got a couple of shortcut buttons, and then the turbo button. I'll bang on about the actual controllers once I've had a chance to do some proper gaming on this thing. And then around back, you've got the quick release buttons for those controllers, couple of vents, and that's about it. Oh, and it's also certainly worth mentioning that the OneXplayer 2 also comes with Thunderbolt 4 support, so you can quickly and easily hook up to a telly, a projector, whatever else. Get some gaming on the big screen if you're a bit bored of just holding this thing. Now, the OneXplayer 2 is running straight up Windows 11. No surprises or shocks there. It's behaved exactly as expected. If you don't have the OneXplayer physical keyboard, you can bring up the virtual Windows one with a quick tap of this second function key, which I like. Quite similar to the Ayaneo 2 in that respect. And naturally, you have a full-on touchscreen as well, so easy for navigation. Now, if you want to mess around with the OneXplayer 2 settings, all you need to do is tap that turbo button. And this allows you to tinker with the performance. So as you can see there, set to 14 watts right now. You can jack it all the way up to 28 watts. Play around with the GPU frequency, fan speed, You've also got fast access to the likes of the haptics, the screen resolution, so you can get it all set up to suit whatever game you're planning on playing. For your storage needs, the OneXplayer 2 sports a PCIe M2 SSD, your choice of half a terabyte all the way up to 2 terabytes. And I'd say if you can stretch to it, definitely go for at least a terabyte, as some of these updates are pushing like 50 gigs these days. Now, as for that display, it is an 8.4-inch IPS monster. Absolutely enormous for a handheld gaming device, so you certainly won't be squinting and struggling to see what's going on at any given moment. And you've got a 2560 by 1600 pixel resolution serving up 358 pixels per inch, making it sharper than the Steam Deck's display and the likes of the Switch as well. And yeah, it is just IPS tech, not OLED, so the contrast levels aren't as strong as what you'd get on the Switch OLED. Those blacks on inky black. But they're really not bad at all. You still get nice poppy colours, nice wide viewing angles. Only possible issue is the peak brightness tops off at 350 nits, so if you're trying to play on the OneXplayer 2 outdoors, you're probably going to be struggling to see what's going on in murkier fare. And the refresh rate does max out at 60Hz as well, just like it does on pretty much every other gaming handheld out there. And that's just about where you want games set anyway, given the limited performance. The speakers here on the OneXplayer 2 are housed beneath the device, just as they are on the likes of the Ayaneo 2. These pump out a reasonably stereo speaker effect, despite the fact that they're not directed right at your mug. And when you bump up the old volume, they are proper beefy too. Let me just give you a demonstration.
I slept fine. Awaiting orders.
How do you like the new glove?
Better than the old one. It's growing on me.
I'd expect nothing less. I designed the device myself. Be careful with it now. It's more important than you might think.
Yes, Dr. Sechenov. I'll keep it safe.
Report to the lab to complete your integration with the glove.
So as you can hear, they're impressively beefy. Certainly, even in quite a noisy environment, you will not struggle to hear what is going on. Clarity really, really good, even when you max out the volume as well. And if you need it, you do have a headphone jack up top. Otherwise, you've got full Bluetooth 5.2 support, nice and easy to get connected. As for the controls, they feel really, really good. Certainly the OneXplayer gives the impression of a premium device. Those thumbsticks just positively glide, nice and responsive. 4 triggers up top, which certainly do the job for your shooting games, your driving games, whatever else. You've also got yourself a settings button, and if you're using Steam, Game Pass, whatever, you can jump straight into those menus with a quick poke of this wee orange jobby. You'll also spy a couple of buttons over here on the right edge. This bottom one basically just disables the LEDs if you want to preserve battery life instead of having a bit of neon flashy goodness. And the other one, if you hold it down, just disconnects the controllers. So now let's shift on to the all-important matter of performance, and the OneXplayer 2 is powered by AMD's Ryzen 6800U processor with Radeon 680M graphics. And this thing even supports external GPUs, just like the original OneXplayer, although that kind of kills the portability factor somewhat unless you strap the GPU to your head. And you've got yourself a choice of 16 or 32 gigs of DDR5 RAM. Mine is the more basic 16 gig model. And when I was first getting to grips with the OneXplayer 2, I maxed out those performance settings and then got a bit of benchmarking on the go. 3D Mark's Time Spy unfortunately crashed the first time I tried it, but second time lucky, where it spaffed out a score of 2,741. And when I booted up Cyberpunk, I chucked it on the Steam Deck preset at Full HD resolution with most visual settings turned to high, but ray tracer knocked off. And the benchmark in here returns an average frame rate just over 30 frames per second, and it was pretty stable overall. So I left the game at those settings and smashed through a few missions, and certainly the gameplay wasn't always silky smooth, but it was more than playable at all times. That frame rate again stayed above 30 frames per second in all but the most intensive moments. If you want to, you could always knock down the settings a bit, bump up the frame rate at the cost of some of those more gorgeous neon visuals. Either way, my driving skills are still unfortunately comparable to Lieutenant Frank Drebin. For something a bit more challenging, I also decided to try running Atomic Heart on the Game Pass service here on the OneXplayer 2, set to the high quality preset at Full HD resolution. It all started well enough, but the OneXplayer 2 certainly struggled with some of those outdoor segments on the higher and the medium detail settings. The frame rate could get quite juddery during certain action sequences. It was playable, but it wasn't the most enjoyable way of getting stuck into the action. Thankfully, when I bumped it down to lower graphics settings, the lush external environments were handled a lot more capably by the OneXplayer 2. And then when I moved indoors as well, the action was a lot creamier. No worries at all. And also it was great to see that the performance stayed strong over time. It doesn't matter how long you're gaming on the OneXplayer 2 because the coolant system keeps all that pesky hot air moving along. Got a combination of a copper heatsink and also a fan which blasts the air out of the top end of the OneXplayer 2 away from your face and your mitts. And that fan can get a wee bit noisy when it maxes out, when it's taxed with the likes of Cyberpunk, but nothing too horrendous at all. Certainly if you've got those speakers pumped right up to the maximum volume, that'll drown out most of the fan noise. Although I certainly wouldn't suggest getting your game on in bed if there's anyone actually trying to get some kip in your general vicinity. The load times could be a little bit ponderous at times. I did notice, especially on Atomic Heart, for instance, there's a segment where you're plummeting into the earth in an elevator. Probably only lasts a few seconds on a really beefy gaming PC. On this bad boy, it lasted the best part of half a minute, by which point we were practically at the Earth's core. But no issues getting online. You've got Wi-Fi 6E support, so certainly in the network connectivity, fast enough to do any online multiplayer shenanigans. As for the battery life, well, you've actually got a bigger battery stuffed inside of this thing than the mighty Ayaneo 2. All the same, I did see the battery life dropping practically 1% every minute while I was gaming on AAA titles like Cyberpunk and Atomic Heart, kind of as you would expect. But with lighter, less intensive titles, you will be able to get a solid 3 or 4 hours out of this thing. And it supports 100-watt fast charging as well, so even if it is drained, as long as you've got the bundled adapter, no worries. And that right there, in a nutshell, is the OneXplayer 2. And I've got to say, I really like the design of this thing. I really like the UI as well. Nice and easy to get to grips with, certainly compared with the likes of the Ayaneos. However, it is an absolutely enormous bugger, no fucking two ways about it. Bit of a beast, and I'm kind of feeling a bit foolish now complaining about the size of the Steam Deck when that thing came out, saying, oh my god, who would actually take this thing anywhere outside of the house? But anyway, what do you guys reckon of the OneXplayer 2? Are you tempted? It'd be great to hear your thoughts down in the comments below. Please do plug, subscribe, and ding that notifications bell for more on the latest and greatest tech, and have yourselves a ruddy, wonderful rest of the week. Cheers everyone, love you!